From owning a ISL football club and to shaping the future of table tennis, your portfolio of sports venture is quite unique.
And then we said, why don't we promote sports? Because that is something that is really required for our country. I had no idea how a football is played, how many players there are. I only knew there was a corner, I knew there is goal, and I knew there was a red card. And for about a week, my husband and I, both of us, argued over this promoting football. And I said, if you want to do it, you do it. I'm not interested because I don't understand the game. Promote 1 hour of play for every child in as many schools as possible. We are a diabetic capital of the world. And I wonder why. The simple answer would be lifestyle. So why can't children go out and play? Why do they always have to be on gadgets? You will get a talent of 100 people who will be of a certain level. From there, you will decide that these 10 have the potential, and out of those 10, one can be a winner. And that one sports person will be your Olympic star. If you ask any sports person, what's your greatest success? What's your greatest pride? They'll say it's the Tiranga. So for me, success is when the Tiranga goes up.
Our guest today is a trailblazer in Indian sports entrepreneurship. As the co-owner of Chennaiyin Football Club in the Indian Super League, co-promoter of Ultimate Table Tennis, and co-founder of Dani Sports Foundation and governing board member in the ITTF Foundation, Vita Dani has been instrumental in putting emerging sports on India's map while strengthening grassroots development. Her work spans from building professional teams that inspires the next generation of young athletes and encouraging them to look at sport as a career through structured training and mentorship. In a field often dominated by men, she has carved her own path, combining business acumen, a passion for sport, and a commitment to nation building through athletics. Today, we'll explore her journey, her vision for India's sports future, and what it truly takes to create a lasting impact on and off the field. Welcome, Vita.
Thank you so much for having me on this podcast. And I hope I can influence and encourage lots of people to play sports, different sports, whatever they like.
From owning a ISL football club and to shaping the future of table tennis, your portfolio of sports venture is quite unique. If you can take us through the time, like how and when this deep love for sports began.
You know, I had a childhood that was always full of play. We were encouraged to be physically active, not only in weekdays, but also on weekends. Like people now think of fancy holidays. Our weekends would be going to Khandala, climbing mountains, having bath in waterfalls, unknown places. And weekdays would be going down and playing in the building. Sometimes weekends would be horse riding, just physically active. So I think that played a very important role in my mindset. And I think that was the best time of my life. We not only made friends, we became good leaders because we could, we had to deal with everybody. We lived in a building with about 24 flats. Now imagine if 24 flats had 2 children each. That means how many children would come down and play every day, even if half of them show up. And all age categories, all characters and different personalities, boys, girls, all mix. So you had to find your way around. You had to really muscle your way around, if I may say so. And I wanted to make sure that my children also grew up the same way. As they were growing up, we realized the importance of being physically active. And then we said, why don't we promote sports? Because that is something that is really required for our country. And we were, planning table tennis because my son started playing table tennis, and we thought that he would eventually choose to be a table tennis player and not a swimmer. So we started, and then came this opportunity of football, where I had no idea. I have to make this confession as well. I had no idea how a football is played, how many players there are. I only knew there was a corner, I knew there is goal and I knew there was a red card. There's nothing beyond it, or, penalty kicks. That's about it. And for about a week, my husband and I, both of us, argued over this promoting football. And I said, if you want to do it, you do it. I'm not interested because I don't understand the game. He said, okay, we will see. And every night we will argue. And I said, this is not going anywhere. This is not a very healthy relationship. And after a week, I asked him, why are we arguing over this? He said, yes, we shouldn't be arguing over it. And I've decided that we are going to promote it and I've committed. I was like, no, this is not happening at all. So who do I go to? So I called up our school PE teacher.
Okay.
And I said, sir, you got to teach me football. He was laughing. He really had a laugh of his life. It was like, you have lost the plot. And then I actually learned the technicalities of it, understood what it takes to build a team. That was the time when all the other ISL teams were starting their preseason.
Okay.
And here I am, who is learning
from the scratch.
Really learning to understand what the game is all about. Yeah. I had no idea who are the players. Okay, we knew the Messis and the Ronaldos and Peles of the
known
world.
Names,
yeah, but nothing beyond it. No statistics, no background, nothing at all. Then came, this was a simpler issue. Then came, part of our team was, already signed up. So then I had to figure out how do we connect with the Indian players. I don't think I knew more than one name.
Is it Sunil, if I can guess?
No, it was Baichung.
Okay.
I had no idea at all because that was not my world at all. And then I'm calling up all the players on my own. It was, I remember, a Sunday morning saying that, listen, now you please report to work because now we have an owner and we're going to start the football club. So I call up few people, nobody's answering the phone,
It's a Sunday morning.
Then one person called back. He said, sorry, ma'am, I was at church, So many of them are Christian
players, yeah.
Yeah. So some of them, I guess, had gone for Sunday Mass. Slowly, I got into it. I had a lot of help and support from well-wishers, friends, family. And we started football. Of course, we couldn't do too many things at a time. And of course, my greatest supporter was Abhishek. Poor fellow would call up at about 2 o'clock in the morning saying, hello, are you awake? And he said, what do you think? It's 2 a.m., I said, yeah, but we got to decide this, we got to make a decision. He's saying, listen, you are crazy and you're going to drive me also crazy like this. But anyway, we had a great start for the year. And in this whole journey, table tennis got, of course, sidelined. So we were to start a league that year, but we pushed it by one more year. And also there was a lot of learning from football. So all the learnings, we could use it in table tennis. Then we started table tennis again. But this is not where it stops because we have high performance centers, we have academies.
Yes.
We do physical literacy, capacity building. So now we are fully entrenched in sports.
Into the world of sports.
Yeah, and I think it's the best thing that's happened.
That's nice. I think if I can ask, you mentioned that, there was this time, when you didn't know anything about sports, leave alone football. So if I may ask, how long was it? Like when you talking about how many years back? Because I would want to put across the point that, when it comes to learning or when it comes to, picking up any sport, your age doesn't matter. So whenever you want, you can actually, take a step towards that. And that will actually help you in long run when it comes to sports.
So let me clarify one thing. You can't say that I didn't know anything about sports. Yes,
Sorry,
I didn't know
my
anything
bad.
about football for sure.
My bad.
No. As I said, in our childhood, we were really encouraged to follow sports, to play sports, so that's all we used to watch on TV. And of course, when we were young, when you were perhaps not born, we used to have only one channel, Doordarshan. And Doordarshan had only like 5, 6 programs that we used to get excited to see. And that was like one Chitrahar or Chaya
Yeah.
Geet, which are just film songs. And then they'd be like, what's the good word? Or, Ramayana and all came much later. So we used to only watch sports. Whatever came on TV is what we would watch. And it was only during Asiad, I remember, when color TV was introduced. And there was so much of excitement because we were so much into sport. And my dad said, no, we'll get you a color TV. So all the three siblings were like top of the world watching. And of course, the rest of the building, all the children would come and sit as well because it was a fun thing to do. And then we would see Asiad and we'd see lots of different games. And it's only as you see games that you learn more about it.
True.
But there is a difference when you follow a game and when you are an administrator. So when you are an administrator, there's a whole different world, new learning. And no matter whether you know enough about the sport, how do you make the sport successful?
Yeah.
Is what is important. So even now, there is so much of learning because each time we take up a new venture and we realize what it takes to make it successful, what it takes to make it more popular. And so this is a constant learning, constant evolving process for us in sports. So we're happy now. I mean, at this point of time, we promote almost 8 sports. But these two are most popularly known or associated with our name. But as Dani Foundation, Sports Foundation, we promote many more sports and we are very happy because you have to take the game to the people. You have to take it to the real grassroots level. That's the only way we will become a sporting nation. And I think that's what the country needs and that's what the government wants, which is very, very refreshing.
Is there any particular sports that you still enjoy apart from football and table tennis that you're still carrying on in your activities?
I personally believe if you like a sport, you like many sports. It's like, I remember in the Olympics this year, there was the last day when everybody had left from the family. I was the only one there because my flight was at a certain time. And I said, now what do I do? I said, let me go see a new sport. So if you like one sport, you like it all because
you'll enjoy all. Yeah.
It's so much of fun. Like, where would we go and see rhythmic gymnastics over here?
Oh.
So it's so much of fun. I mean, if you go and see equestrian with Versailles as a backdrop, there cannot be a greater delight. Or if you want to go see rowing. So it's just the spirit of competitiveness, the spirit of playing game. I just think it's the greatest joy one can get. So I love to see all sports, no matter what it is. Really try hard to see new sports as well. Like we like to go and see fencing. And we said we have to promote fencing. So now we started promoting fencing at the rural level.
Oh, that's nice.
Which is, I don't know where I can go and see it in Mumbai. But I'd be happy. So, like if you go to a club, you will see somebody else playing tennis. We'll see Wimbledon. We'll see everything, every competition that takes place. We see every sport. It's fun.
Like you mentioned that, there are a lot of other sports like fencing that you guys are now promoting. So if you can speak or shed more light about like how did you actually step into the ownership and leadership roles?
As I said, it was a very smooth transition. When we thought of promoting table tennis, we never thought that we would be involved in so many sports. And one thing led to the other. As I said, football was a gift. It came by chance. And that's why I always say that circumstances are very important. To be at the right place at the right time.
Yeah.
And get that opportunity. And then we said we have to do physical literacy. If you look at the government's mandate, they say that, children must play. So taking from there, what we are trying to do is promote 1 hour of play for every child in as many schools as possible.
Okay.
We are a diabetic capital of the world,
Mm-hmm.
and I wonder why. And the simple answer would be lifestyle.
That's true.
So why can't children go out and play? Why do they always have to be on gadgets? You know, it's healthy to be away from screen. It's healthy to just go out and play there. And talking about that, we have also started a transformation in society through sports program. And just recently, I was in a small town of Kapadvanj, which is in Gujarat.
Mm.
It has a population of about 50,000 people. And I had the most heartening story. So there is something called the Madari community. And if I may
Okay.
translate it, what it means are the community of snake charmers.
Mm.
It's sad that even today, after so many years of independence, you know, we are still having these kind of differences. So these people live on the outskirts of the village, not really in the village.
Okay.
And we started this program of, say, table tennis over there. Okay. And people come from all walks of uh, society and come and play, apart from the schools. Like we have schools with about 7,000 children over there who come and play. So everybody interacts with one another. What it does is it kind of erases out all the differences.
Mm.
So there are no communal differences. There's no girl child and a boy child difference. There is people come together. All age
Yeah.
groups come together. There are widows who come and play.
Oh, that's very
So
nice.
they
Yeah.
don't get opportunity to go out and do many things, some of them, because they're really old now,
Mm-hmm.
and they must have had really tragic lives. So they also come and play. Some of them come and play with gungat. It's unbelievable. But it's just so nice that they can come together. Going back to this boy who was from the Madari
Mm.
community, he was so involved in sports that he also started playing frisbee.
Oh.
And then, of course, there was a lot of resistance from his family saying, Arey, what will you do, with sports? You better go and study. Now, this kid is a determined person. Okay, and he must be probably 20, 25. I'm not too sure of the correct age, but closer to that. And he told his father, uh, before he told his father, he took his uncle into confidence. And then he told his father that, listen, if you don't allow me to play sports, I might do something to myself. Then don't blame anybody else for it. So, with a lot of emotional pressure, I'm sure he said, yeah, yeah, it's okay. And the uncle also said, yeah, let him play sports. This year, we had our UTT, which is the Ultimate Table Tennis League in Ahmedabad. So, we said that why don't we get all these people to come and witness what we are doing?
Mm.
So, a whole bus full of people came and they saw it. Of course, they take videos. And today in digital world, everything is captured, in moments. We don't need to tell them to do anything. So he took everything back, with him, and he showed it to everybody. Today, he's like a leader in his community. All the other children come and consult him. Adults come and
Wow.
consult him. What should we be doing if we want to promote our children to go and play? What should we be doing? How do we balance between education and
Sports.
sport? So I think this is what we need to do. More people get involved from different sections in society and strata. Not only will they come together, we will find new leaders. And
Mhm.
that's important. So I feel sports is not only about winning, it's also about how to accept defeat.
Mm.
It's about creating leaders. It's about creating champions, and how will those champions bring about changes. So I
True.
think it's a very large landscape that we are talking about over here when we just say that how do we do sports.
We all are aware that cricket is like a religion in India, right? With that fandom, and when you look at your ventures of football, table tennis, or the newer sports that you're promoting, And these are all different ventures, including your sports foundation. Uh, in when you consider all these three things, then how do you approach brand building, especially given the fact that the fan following is still growing? It is still in that stage.
So, our country is a country of multiple religions and has lots and lots of gods and goddesses that coexist. So, if cricket is God, there are lots of other gods and goddesses that are there. And we are slowly going towards a multi sport nation
Mhm.
where sports other than cricket are also becoming a lot more visible. So, if you look at football, you look at table tennis, you look at kabaddi,
Kabaddi, yeah.
many more, badminton,
Mhm.
you know, so many different sports are coming about. And it's also important because if you look at any one sport,
Mhm.
what's your success ratio? It's only that 1% of people who
Mhm.
will be successful. So, what happens to the rest? People, if you look at people around the world and you look at their childhood, they parents take their children to just go and play sports.
Mhm.
Okay. This is, I'm talking about a Western
Yeah.
world by and large, where there are public facilities and people just go and play. And from
Mhm.
there, they decide if the child is really interested and inclined towards promoting a particular sport, and then they take it forward.
Yeah.
So this not only happens in childhood, that is carried forward to schools. Schools goes to intercollegiate, like university, and then of course to the professional journey.
Mhm.
So this is something that we need to do even in India. So we need to ensure that we expose our children to as many sports
Sports
as
as possible.
possible so that they can try their hand. They may not be cut out for sports at all.
True.
It's
Mhm.
okay. But it's good for basic fitness.
Mhm.
You look at footballers, you look at cricketers, you look at lots of other sportsmen, they all play table tennis
Mhm.
because they need to do hand eye coordination, they need to work on their reflexes. You can play it during monsoons, winter, you need much smaller a place to
Yeah.
play. So there are lots of advantages, and people do it for multiple reasons.
Mhm.
The newest thing that we are now promoting at world level is Parkinson's championship and
Okay.
Alzheimer's championship
Okay.
because data has proved over and again that these, I mean, people with these issues do benefit.
Mhm.
So there are so many advantages of sports being played by different sports being played.
Mhm.
Like we are now also part of the knowledge partners with Brahmaputra League,
Mhm.
which is volleyball. It's a grassroots program which is now one of the best in the world. 100 teams,
Mhm.
and what a fantastic job they do. People who come from little villages, towns, talukas. It's a real grassroots program. Communities come together. So a country of 1 billion people plus,
Mhm.
we cannot promote only one sport.
Yeah. There has to be
we got to
portfolio
be
of
we got to
sports.
be
Yeah.
worshipping different gods and
Gods. Yeah.
goddesses, and we need to make sure that all the gods and goddesses are part of our sporting ecosystem. So I'm always a big fan of anybody who promotes sports in any capacity.
Mhm.
You don't have to do everything at a professional level. You got to start somewhere, and that is most important.
I think that's really nice. And one thing that you have touched, and in your stories across is villages, tier two cities, your towns. So I really want to understand that you're working at a grassroots level, right? You're going out there to people who might not have those opportunities, right? So you're taking sports to them. Uh, I also would want to understand is what about what happens in the tier one cities, right? So are you working towards the tier 1 cities as well, or are you working, at strengthening, at the grassroots level?
So I know your question in the earlier statement was, brand building.
Hmm.
So that's something that we got to learn. If you turn on your TV, that soap ad will come in your face, right? Or if you look at, say, milk,
Hmm.
बच्चा दूध पीता है तो it becomes strong.
Yeah.
Okay. That's fantastic. But it comes in your face. We have to make sure that we take the sport and put it in people's face.
Hmm.
How do you do that? TV is one medium. Otherwise, you take the sport to the people.
Hmm.
And that's where grassroots becomes very important. When you expose that sport to the masses at the grassroots level, where say 50,000, 1 lakh children are playing, you will get a talent of 100 people who will be of a certain level. From there, you will decide that these 10 have the potential. And out of those 10, one can be a winner. And that one sports person will be your Olympic star. So you got to start at the base level. While top-down approach is fantastic. We have the league, which happens. We have something that happens that, we used to do a school program in table tennis. You got to do it at multiple levels. But your real base is at the grassroots level. And there is no substitute. That's also the reason why we take table tennis to different cities each year. We take the game to the people.
Yeah.
So that's like a physical, what should I say, a physical way of taking those ads to people.
That's interesting way to put it.
That's the only way you can build a brand. That's the only way people will. And more people I speak to now, more people say, oh, do you know I used to play table tennis as a child? Oh, I used to. I said, don't worry, I'm the same like you. I used to play rounders in school and we were so bad. We used to not even have rackets sometimes. So we used to play it with books. But those are the greatest memories. They're the greatest joys of life. Somebody says, oh, how well are you a table tennis player? Or I'm the greatest table tennis player, but only on the dining table. So I never played professionally, but we were happy. As you said, childhood, we were just exposed. Like, 20 kids playing rounders, You got few shots, but simple pleasures of life. And that's what we need to do. We need to have lots of people playing different sports just for the sheer pleasure of it. That's the only way you will start consuming it on TV. You'll get the eyeballs. You get the eyeballs, then you get the sponsors. You get the sponsors, you will build a better brand. I mean, it's like a chicken and an egg story.
Like you mentioned, you are taking sports to the people. While you do so, I want to understand, how do you actually measure success beyond your, ranks, or beyond the medals that people bring home? What are those things that, you decide, okay, this venture has been successful? Maybe not in terms of how many championship you have won, but, the other parameters.
Today is 14th of August. The day that we all really wait for is 15th of August. Why?
That's when we got independence, we got our freedom.
That's because that's the day we want to put up our Tiranga.
Yeah.
Right. So what matters is your flag. Everything else is not as important. And if you ask any sports person, what's your greatest success? What's your greatest pride? They'll say it's the Tiranga.
Wearing that flag.
Wearing that flag. Wearing that jersey which has India written. Wearing or competing where it's your nation that you're representing. And that's the greatest joy. That's the greatest honor one has. So for me, success is when the Tiranga goes up. When we started table tennis, there were two players in top 100. Today we have more than 12 players who are in top 100.
Wow.
And for me, that is a real success. What else will be my success is when multiple sports will be consumed by the consumers, when multiple sports will coexist, when people will talk about India as a sporting nation.
And not like a only cricket nation.
That's the success that I would look for. Because let me share this story with you. You just got the words out of my mouth. When we started table tennis league, which is UTT, we had some of the really high ranked players, including some Olympic medalists who used to come and play. And after 2 seasons, we were taking, interviews of different players. So one of them said this, and she said that, earlier we used to think, when we used to go and see the draw of table tennis, we'll say, there's an Indian. Now when we go and see the draw and they said, oh my God, there's an Indian. And I think that's a real success, because then we are a potential threat, that we are capable of winning against one of the best in the world.
Yeah.
And that is the real success for me. Everything else is okay. Nobody can be, number one throughout in life.
True.
But the fact that we can reach up to there is important. So, and it's sometimes very disheartening when people say, oh, we got so many number 4s in Olympic this year.
Yeah.
But what about the fact that we have reached at number 4? That means there is potential, and next year we will be number 3, 2, or 1. That's important. So we don't look at it that way, which is I don't think right. Of course, we all want to win. Of course, we want that medal. We want to be champions. But are we really doing everything that we need to do to become that champion is the question I would ask. And that's the real journey that I would like to follow. What can we do from grassroots to the podium level?
I think it's very interesting that you mention Olympics, because I have observed it. Whenever there's this, Olympics or any such leagues, at the end of the day, everyone is sitting in front of the TV and they're counting, they're taking a tally of how many medals we have won, right? And people feel like frustrated. Oh, we are doing, we are very little, or a single digit. So sometimes feel that, when you compare yourself to other nations who are sending, sportsmen in quite a lot, supporting them in their journey end to end, how much do you think India is India doing enough? Are we sending a right set of people and enough people to compete in all those sports? Because at the end of the day, what we see is the outcome. We very less see, we don't often see how much effort has gone into, and are we even doing enough? So what is your vision for, Indian sports?
I'm really blessed in life. I have a partner, Neeraj Bajaj, as and he is a national champion. So he really understands what it takes to become a champion. Where are the gaps? What is it that we should be doing to ensure that we create better champions? And then I have a son at home who's also now a professional sports person. And, this was a very natural reaction. Once he lost to a player that I thought he would not lose to. And he says, Mom, I lost. I just reacted like I said, oh. He was so upset with me. And he says, Mom, you're promoting sports. How can you react like this? You cannot always win. And it's okay if I have lost, And I think that was the greatest learning for me, that we have to be, if you're going to promote sports, You got to be ready for all eventualities. Nobody likes to lose. Everybody likes to win, right? We play to win.
Yeah.
But sometimes things don't go your way. No matter how hard you have tried, no matter how hard you have worked, and a competition like Olympics comes every 4 years. And it's that window that decides the hard work of your 4 years or 8 years. And sometimes it's cruel.
Mm-hmm.
So, of course, this we don't have to be dejected by something like this, but we have to do everything it takes to work towards it. We have to strive for the best. And then let's just pray and hope that it all works out the way we would like it to be. But it's a tough journey. And unlike um, a corporate option, you don't have a Q2, Q3, and Q4 to recover from. It's that day
That
in the arena and how you do against your opponent. So, sport is tough. But of course, it brings the best out of a person, as I always believe.
So, how do you manage and how do you balance your commercial viability when you have a very long term focus on the sports development?
You know, it's, as I said, a chicken and an egg story. If you don't invest in sports, sports will not grow. If it doesn't grow, you will not get champions. You don't get champions, people will not get into sports. As I mentioned earlier, I have a sports person in my house.
Yeah.
And I know what it takes. They say it takes a village to raise a child. It's the same for sports person. They need tactical help, technical help, physical help, mental help, all sorts of, and besides that, a lot more. And we are here to promote the sport. And as I have said, our success or our ROI is when the Tiranga goes up. Our ROI is when we create more champions. And our ROI is when we are going to produce many more sports leaders that the world will be afraid of, that the world will look at as leaders. And that's something that we got to do as a responsible, I would say, a responsible person. And we are privileged that we can afford to do this. And if we don't, then I don't know who else will. So for me, spending money is not only about fashion and about, I don't say there's anything wrong in it. But for me, this is more exciting for promoting sports. And I'm really very happy that we are doing this with multiple sports because we can't expect only government to do things. It's not fair, and partnership is very important. So we are willing to do this along with the government as we do currently, and we will promote sports, and we don't look at numbers of this. Also, we are what is important is broadcast around the world. Sport does well because there's a lot of broadcast money,
A lot of viewership coming in.
so if we promote sports, people will see sports on TV, and it'll be beneficial to not only the broadcast but also for the sport and the entire system. So that's my take on investment in sports.
As you mentioned that you're working with government, you're working with multiple partners to take sports to people, What are the major challenges or the bottlenecks you feel there is with the India's talent pipeline, and how do you see overcoming them?
I think the biggest change that we should be looking for is in the mindset and mindset of parents. So we are in this journey where we want to make sports aspirational
Mhm.
as well as inspirational. We want to make heroes out there that the family, the friends, the neighbors, everybody would look out for. Today, if you put a sports person's face on TV,
Mm.
you know how many more people will look at them. Can they make a living out of it? Yes, then it becomes aspirational and
Inspiration.
inspirational also when you become a success story. So, this is very important, and we need to take this game to people at the every possible level. And that's the reason why I say that it takes a village. Today, if, say, my son is on TV,
Mhm.
I will call my cousins, I'll call his friends, parents, everybody to see it. Today, if your child's article comes in, say, newspaper, you cut it out, right? You
Yeah, yeah.
save it somewhere. And of course, with great pride,
You share it.
you share it with
Yeah,
people.
on
And
all the
now,
WhatsApp groups and
yeah,
everywhere.
listen, now this WhatsApp group is like another media house.
Yeah, broadcasting. Yeah.
Absolutely. So that becomes aspirational. That becomes inspiration. Like today, so many people come up to me and ask me, what did you do with your son? How has he become like this? I have done nothing. You just encourage the child. You just encourage them to, you know, do all these things, play different games. I remember when my children were young, as I said, what they did, they went to the club and played, I think, 10 sports every week. Morning, they'd be at the club on Saturday, Sunday. Again, they would want to go in the evening. One day they're playing squash, one day they're playing golf, sometimes they're playing something else. And that's how you promote the game. And again, it keeps all these health issues at bay. Parents need to do this. While education is important, this brings a fantastic aspect in life.
True.
We are not saying that they should give up studies, not at all. My son has done his master's while pursuing sports at the highest level. So they need to study, but it just develops the personality of a child. It is so important. As I said, it teaches you great leadership quality. It teaches you to associate with children coming from different backgrounds. You connect, you learn so much from one another. And it's unbelievable what it can do to your personality. It's unbelievable what it can shape you as a human being. So I think it's very, very important. I mean, I know my kids used to go down and play with the watchman, our staff, everybody. Why should there be any differences? It's this is how we will bring society together. Why is there so much of intolerance these days? Why can we not just live peacefully? It's Why should we see any differences? So it really brings people, society together. It's a fantastic tool, medium if used correctly.
With the Dani Sports Foundation, you're focused on building, the capacity as well as promoting the physical literacy. What is your philosophy on the same?
I feel it's important that children are physically active. And today in the country, very often parents want their children only to excel in education because they feel that that's the only thing that will give them livelihood and give them jobs. So we sometimes have to speak to different parents and say that that's not the only thing. Today, when we have sports personalities that become real heroes, then they become the role model. I want my child to become Sachin Tendulkar. I want my child to become Neeraj Chopra or Abhinav Bindra.
Hmm.
And that's what it is. That we need to educate parents. While education is important, so is sports. And when we promote physical literacy at grassroots level, we realize that many more girl child are wanting to enroll in this program. More children want to come to school where there is sport being promoted. All the differences between communities are disappearing over there, between a girl and a boy are disappearing over there because they come together.
True.
And that's for the sheer joy of playing sport. So, very often we will see that more successful parents are, what do they do with their child over a weekend?
Hmm.
And your guess would be, oh, I will take you out for a movie.
Movie or
Let's go
lunch,
out for
yeah.
a meal. Why can we not go out and play a
Play
game?
sports.
Why can we not go and see a sport? So some of these, mindset changes
Hmm.
is what is important. Now, with a lot of infrastructure, which is more easily available to people, is coming up in different parts of the country. If we bring more events to the country, people will come and see those events.
Hmm.
And that's how we will not only popularize the sport, we will make it aspirational for people to follow the sport. So it's a tough journey. It's not easy at all, but we have to push it. We have to speak to you know parents. One more challenge that we see sometimes is that now my child is in 10 standards and now the child has to focus on math and
Boats.
go for engineering and doctor and all. But there are lots of options available for children to study while they're promoting sports as well.
Mhm.
We have Satyan Gnansekar, who's an engineer,
Hmm.
and he's also one of the most successful table tennis players. So why can you not do side by side? You may not get 95.
Hmm.
If you get 85, it's okay. But see what else are you doing in life, how it is helping you. And I think we'll have to make this as part of parents' vocabulary. That's important. So those are the kind of changes that we should be looking at.
Okay.
And it's not only when you look at sports, it's not only the sports person. You are actually building the entire landscape.
Hmm.
The entire ecosystem will consist of, like, say, a coach, an assistant coach, mental trainer, physical trainer. Uh, you will look at masseurs. You will look at so many things. Event management. You look at that. You need lights. You need sound. You need somebody to put event management skill, and run the show. You need somebody to do broadcast. So you need people behind the camera. You need somebody to do branding. So you're creating multiple jobs at multiple levels. It's
True.
not only that you're promoting sports. So this job creation will also be very interesting. Not all sports people will become successful sports person. They might become a commentator. They might become a presenter. You still got to know sports.
True.
So you can be involved in multiple or various capacities and be part of the sporting system. I mean, if you look at different presenters, I'm sure all of them have not studied only that, right?
Mhm.
So it's just that you got to promote it in different ways and see how you can be part of that whole system.
It's quite commendable, Vita, that your passion for sports has also creating a lot of jobs simultaneously. So a lot of opportunities at all the levels. So that's quite commendable.
Thank you.
You are the governing board member of ITTF Foundation, right?
That's right.
So, if you can talk a bit more about your induction to the foundation, as well as what is the foundation looking to achieve?
So the International Table Tennis Foundation has members from different parts of the world. And what we do as grassroots in India is what the foundation would want to do around the world.
Mm.
And they have the same motto, gender parity. Like, how
Mm.
can a girl child, boy child have the equal rights? How can we uh, bring about a transformation in society? How can we take the game to the people at the grassroots level? So the foundation works in over 100 and odd countries,
Mm.
and including countries in Africa, in the Middle East, different parts of the world. And how can we also popularize the game?
Mm.
So that is most important. We also uh, bring about World Health Festival, as I was mentioning about Alzheimer's
Mm.
and
Parkinson's,
Parkinson's.
yes.
And these are some of the people who do not have equal opportunities.
Mm.
So it really brings people together. And that's what foundation really focuses on.
Okay.
So we will be celebrating the World Health Festival in India next year. And we also do different projects where people can apply for grants,
Mm.
and they come from different parts of the world, and it runs for 3 years. So if you are
Wow.
chosen,
Mm.
there are like six of the programs that are chosen
Mm.
each year, and then they go on like that. So I think these are all important measures to bring communities together, erase out all differences.
Bring a parity.
And absolutely. So that's what the foundation focuses on.
Okay. It is interesting that you mentioned the parity. When you look at sports, and when it comes to management and the ownership, traditionally it is male dominated. So, Vita, how did you navigate that space and you established your authority?
You know, since childhood, I'm used to having males around me. I grew up with two brothers,
Mm.
and my motto was very simple. You know, you have to fight your way,
WWF at home?
whatever you may call it. And the simple mantra would be that if you cannot fight, then you bite.
Oh,
So, but you have to get your way around.
yeah.
So, I've learned to fend for myself since childhood. And I was not uncomfortable when I got into football. Of course, year one, we had no women around. We had one girl, Anusha, and they were all guys. Somewhere I had to tell them that, listen, you all may be guys,
Mm.
but I hope you know who the boss is. So it's as simple as that. And this is what I've always believed, that you
Mm.
don't have to shout
Mm.
to get your way around.
Mm.
You have to be assertive,
Mm.
and you have to convey the message loud and clear. That's important. Now, over 12 years in our football venture at Chennaiyin FC, we have many more women around. And it's really
Nice.
heartening. You know, sometimes even if you want a lipstick or something, you have to, reach out to one of your colleagues who's a male, who may or may not understand. But it's okay. I mean. So I've had no issues. I'm quite okay with it. I don't feel any discomfort having male around me. And as I said, I just tell them that they need to know who's the boss.
Okay. So how easy was it for you, or how easier it for the men around, or were there any times where you had to actually push yourself to be taken seriously as a decision maker? Like you mentioned there wasn't any, but still I'm trying to prove any one incident where you felt okay, now I have to
No,
put my foot down.
not at all. I mean, I have to say, Abhishek was always with me at all the games.
Okay.
Mahi would come on and off
Mhm.
when his schedule would permit. But, and he was like, he used to always, watch out for me. It's really a nicest partner one can have at business. But I don't think I ever had that situation where I felt threatened or I thought that nobody listened to me. Not at all. I think it's also how one conducts oneself,
Okay.
and I'm quite a hands-on person. I don't leave things to others too much beyond a point. I need to know what's happening, where is it going. So I'm there when decisions have to be made. What tough calls. Of course, we've had challenges, but those were different challenges.
Mhm.
When we were stuck in floods,
Okay.
we were stuck in Chennai for almost 3, 4 days. We had no internet service, no phones were working. We had to drive, 4 hours away. So we went in buses, but I was okay. It was fun. I take everything in the stride. So I have never felt that, am I any different? If they felt any other way, you need to go ask the team. I was quite okay.
And what is that one piece of advice I think you would want to give out to the young women out there, young athletes who are looking up to you, you know, how to make their mark, how to make impact in this traditionally a male dominated sports arena?
I feel there is nothing greater than believing in your own self. And I say this, I've said it in this interview, and I said it lots of places that I admitted that I didn't understand football and I was willing to learn. So, willingness to learn is very important.
True.
Believe in yourself, be open to learning, and then conduct yourself as a leader. If you do these three things, then you will excel in life for sure. Very often people don't want to accept things. And that's the toughest part, I feel. Nobody is born with all skills. So capitalize on your strengths and learn about your weaknesses. And it's a constant evolving process. Even now, I don't know everything. There are new digital mediums that are coming up. There are so many different aspects that are now being focused on. And one should be willing to know about it. I sit with my team and I tell them, teach me.
Mm.
I don't feel ashamed to say that. And we got to constantly learn and be up to the newest technology. We need to learn about so many things in life.
Yeah.
So I'm very happy when my children tell me, Mom, you don't know anything. Yes, of course I don't know. And I'm okay with it, but I'm
Willing to learn.
willing to learn, and that's important. So all of us need to learn. No? Just like when we learned, there were no computers. I mean, sorry, when we grew up, there were no computers. We learned about technology. WhatsApp didn't exist. Meta didn't exist. Chat GPT didn't exist. But we are happy if you learn it in the right way, then it will really take you places.
If you can shed some light on how technology is shaping the future of sports, whether it comes to fan engagement, performance, Like, how is technology helping?
So in table tennis, we collaborate. This year we
Hmm.
had somebody called Spin Sight who had come from Sweden,
Okay.
and it talks about how the ball spins.
Oh.
Where does the ball land on the table? Heat mapping. How can you use all these things to improve your game?
Interesting.
So at the end of it, performance is what matters.
Hmm.
But if we can leverage technology for improvement of performance, then that will really take us places. And we're trying to see if we can make this more affordable
Hmm.
and accessible to more people, and more can benefit out of this. So we had like somebody who was also measuring speed.
Hmm.
So at what speed does it come? What's the rotation like? So many things. And I think this is important in every sport. So yesterday I was at the IBM office, and they do this in different sports as well. So I was trying to really learn. And as I said, learn as to how we can use this to benefit different sports.
Hmm.
So that's what it's all about. You got to do this even in football. Like we have wearables and you get that data. But
Correct.
what do you
Yeah.
do with that data? You're really using that data.
Hmm.
And how are you using it to benefit the performance of the football player? So we all need to do that collectively.
Hmm.
And I don't see a reason why we as a country cannot go places.
Okay. And when it comes to the accessibility part, what is that? What is that you suggest or advise that each one of us should do so that sports become more inclusive and more accessible, especially at the grassroots level?
I would say if you are living in a building, please go down and play sports. If you have children, please encourage them to play different sports, no matter what it is. Let them play dart, it doesn't matter.
Hmm.
But let them go down and
Spend
physically
time.
be
Yeah.
more active. More active they are, better they will perform, even academically.
Hmm.
And I have seen this not only in my house, but even otherwise, that sports people tend to excel even in education. If you are willing to spend some money, please promote it at grassroots level if you can, or at any level. You have a friend whose child is playing and needs additional support, please
that.
support it in a small way, whichever
Hmm.
small way. It doesn't have to be a big number, but in any small way that you can. Give them coaching lesson. What do we do for birthdays? People go out and splurge,
True.
right? We as a family don't really celebrate birthdays because we think we can do so much more. So on your birthday, why don't you go and sponsor a child?
Yeah.
You know,
And make a difference.
make a difference at a small level. It doesn't. You don't know where that child will go next. Nobody is born star, but you got to polish them and make them into diamonds, and all of them can. So promote it in which, even if nothing, sit and watch TV and watch sports. I mean,
Yeah.
it really takes many, many people to do that. If somebody is playing sport, can you help them with mental fitness? It's a small amount. Can you help them with physical fitness? Equipment. Like if you're playing table tennis, a rubber. Can you provide for balls? If you think this is also too much, just like say an old age home or any other home, where there are children, orphanages, put a table tennis table. It will benefit so many children. It will go places.
Yeah.
So, whichever part of sporting ecosystem you wish to be, if you can do that, donate a jersey. That's probably, even more cost effective. Or give bananas to a team that is going somewhere.
Playing somewhere.
do simple things in life, but it will just change the culture, the way we think, and it will go a long way. Now I know a lot of people on birthdays, they say they want to donate something, they want to plant a tree, which is fantastic. It's great. But since I'm into sport, I'll always want to promote sports. So can we do something, in a municipal school?
Hmm.
Just give little cones, it's few hundred rupees. They will play there.
Yeah.
Give them a football ball, give them a volleyball ball, give them something else, whatever you feel like it. Give them a rope, let them play tug of war. It's 200 rupees. I'm sure, I don't know how much it costs, but I'm assuming.
Hmm.
Give them simple things, but just promote, physical literacy in any way you wish to.
I think that's quite an interesting take on how each one of us can actually, promote physical literacy and ensure that sports become more accessible to all the people. I think that's great. I myself will, ensure that I take at least do some part of it.
Thank you, Ritika.
Before we wrap up this segment, one last question that we have for you is, while I know sports is very close to your heart, in sport, is there any one particular initiative that is very close to your heart and you would want to speak about?
I don't know about any initiative in particular, but I just think that we have been able to make a huge difference in table tennis.
Hmm.
So anywhere I go, I just get very excited. So we have different sizes of tables. We have a mini table, we have a macro table, we have a little bigger a table, and a large size table. What we have started doing is that in smaller towns, we are encouraging people to make tables. They may not be of internationally certified level, which is fine.
Hmm.
But what it does is it promotes skill. So skill building, job creation.
Hmm.
You make an equipment, and then you promote people to play. I mean, children, people, whoever, doesn't matter. So it's like an end to end solution. You are doing it at the lowest level of skill building
Hmm.
to somebody playing sport. And this can be done at multiple levels. And people are willing to do this. If you go to smaller towns, villages, they're happy to do it. All you need to do is give them a can of paint, and they make it like paint the top surface and give them net.
Hmm.
And it becomes a table. So we donate these kind of tables as well,
Oh.
because
Hmm.
at grassroots level, you don't need to have tables that are of high quality.
Okay.
First, let them be exposed to the sport
And explore.
and explore and see whether it really interests them or not,
Hmm.
and just make them physically active. So it's a win win. One cannot go wrong promoting sports.
It has been an absolute delight having this conversation, having you on this episode with us. And we really learned a lot, really inspired. And thank you once again.
Thank you, Ritika. And my last message to everybody who's watching this podcast, that please do your bit for sport, be it any sport, and that will mean a lot to me. Thank you.